Hi everyone and welcome back to XGate Dental. I'm Emmanuel Kadosh and we are here to discuss new procedures in the field of dentistry. We will provide interesting new cases to exhibit how doctors use our products to solve complicated dental cases. Don't forget to subscribe and follow to stay up to date, and let's get started. Today we want to make a bridge on the upper jaw, 12 unit, 12 crown bridge on 7 multi-units, on 7 implants. And the biggest problem with this type of restoration is determining the height of the bridge and the occlusion. Now in this case, the patient doesn't have any provisional bridges and doesn't have any teeth at all. On the lower jaw, they have a temporary bridge on their teeth, and soon it'll be changed into a zirconia bridge, but on the upper jaw, we don't have anything. So we need to know what's going to be the height of the teeth and what's the patient's vertical dimensions of occlusion. We want to know where should be the central line and all the anatomical configurations of the bridge. So at first, we want to take impressions of the upper jaw. When we take impressions, we place scan abutments on the top of the multi-units, and we scan all the scan abutments, and we can scan all the palatal area. When you are restoring an upper jaw, it's much simpler because you have an attached gingiva. Now, the attached gingiva is almost non-movable, so you can just scan it, and the scanner will be pretty accurate because nothing is moving. Right now, you have the orientation of each implant. You don't know if there are any relations between the upper and the lower jaw. So we took impressions and we took all the palatal area. Right now, you have the orientation of each implant. You don't know if there are any relations between the upper and the lower jaw. So we took impressions of all of the palatal area, and right now, we want to make some sort of composite bulk. And with this composite, we want to, let's say, fix the VDO, the vertical dimension. And on this buccal, we want to paint the central line and the occlusion. You started adding composite material one layer on top of another until you can see that with the lips and the cheeks, you have enough height and everything is done in occlusion. So the patient can open and close his mouth and get back to the same place. It's not like when you're doing it with wax. You have a very thick layer of wax. Here you can see how the lips are going to look like after the restoration, and you can add a little bit in the buccal part. You can remove a little bit in the buccal part so you know how the bridge and the lips and everything will synchronize. You can see in this VDO that when the patient opens and closes her mouth, the teeth go back to exactly the same place. First of all, the composite material is a hard material. It's not like wax. So if she closes a little bit stronger on her teeth, she won't deform the composite. And on the other hand, she can open and close and get back to the same spot exactly as we build the composite material. So with this composite material, we know the exact VDO that we chose. And because we build this composite material only in the frontal area, all the palatal area and all the distal scan abutments can still be seen. And then we can place the scan of the composite material with the palatal and the scan abutments on top of the previous scan that we took. And we'll have the full jaw with all of the scan abutments, and it will be in relation to the lower jaw according to what we built with the composite material. The most interesting and amazing part that you can see is that you have contact points in all of the places. So you know that when the patient closes her mouth, you have a pretty good occlusion. Maybe you can achieve it a little bit better. She closes and both sides are in occlusion. You need to correct a little bit on the occlusion. We got a central line in exactly the same place that we wanted. We have the anatomy of the teeth that's good enough for us, and we can add or remove material. Now, we can move the teeth into the buccal or make the teeth a little bit smaller. This depends on the patient's wishes and what we see in the mouth, because in the computer, you don't always see the same thing. We played with the anatomy a little bit. So every time we changed it, and when you mill in the bridge or print the provisional bridge, you already have this design in the computer. You can mill it from zirconia, and you can already send it to the manufacturing and get the same design as with the provisional bridge. For example, a problem with the PFM because you have a metal carcass and the technician is adding ceramics on top of the metal. So you won't get the same thing every time. The anatomy will change a little bit each time. So this was probably the final version of the teeth, and you can see that we made the teeth a little bit higher and this one a little bit wider. You can see that these multi-units are visible because it's an angulated multi-unit. With angulated multi-units, in many cases, you have a buccal bulge. So in the buccal part of the multi-unit, it will be visible, and it's very, very, very high, and it's much higher than her smile line, so you won't see it when she smiles. We made a lot of versions because each time the patient had a complaint, and we wanted to show her that we can do and we can achieve anything that she needs. Up until the final version that we made from zirconia with cemented sleeves, we added a little bit of color to see better the separation, and we changed the lower bridge also to zirconia so you can see the central line is in the middle. You can see that the central line of the lower bridge is probably a little bit shifted because it's on her own teeth, and it's a little bit of a problem to move it to the right of the patient. You can see that when she smiles, it's very symmetric and it's parallel to her smile. The only thing that we changed a little bit was the design. But the first impression that we took with the first relations between the jaws and the vertical dimension, we could define it using this composite material in the first place. And we did it only once. You don't need to redo it. What you see in the computer when you design the bridge is not what you'll see in the mouth. It's very hard, even using the most advanced programs with Smile Design and Phase 3D scanners. It's still very difficult to do it from the first time, from the first temporary bridge. You need to have some revisions. Thank you everyone that joined in to learn some new and interesting information. Make sure to stay tuned for more. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow. Thank you and see you guys next time.